Hello, gorgeous souls. Welcome to the first new moon of 2025, kicking off the Lunar New Year. So, I know for many people, they actually celebrate the new year when we have the first new moon of 2025. So, happening on January the 29th in the visionary humanitarian sign of the zodiac, Aquarius. We are also moving into the year of the wood snake. And this is such a powerful time of shedding away the old identities, old belief systems, even trauma that's keeping us tied to the past, and being patient with ourselves as this new version of ourselves emerges, as we embrace the evolution of our soul. So, this is going to be probably already feeling it in many ways, a transformational year for us collectively, as well as in our own personal life. And of course, we are each contributing to the collective and what's unfolding in the collective by the energy we bring to the world, the decisions we make in very practical ways, the decisions we make, the actions we take. But all of that stems from our mindset and our energy. So our frequency alone is determining the vibration on this planet. And this is what we are really awakening to in the Aquarian age as well. So we have so much goodness to dive into today. A very special new moon. I want to take a moment to welcome anyone who may be new here. If you are new here, say hi below. I would love to get to know you better. If you want to share your sun, your moon, your rising sign, I know that's just a little piece of the birth chart puzzle, but it's a beautiful place to start where I can get to know your energy a little more. If you've been on this journey with me for a while, you know I love to hear from you. So share below what you're feeling, what resonates with you based on what we go over together today, because there's a lot to dive into. This is also the first new moon following the shift of the nodal axes, where we have the north node now in Pisces and the south node in Virgo for the next 18 months. So we have a few new cycles that are really beginning to open here. Now, I am going to share my screen so we can dive more deeply into these new moon energies. So, new moon happening over here in Aquarius at 9 degrees. What makes it a new moon is we have the sun and moon conjunct at 9 degrees of Aquarius. We also have Mercury there and Pluto there. So this Aquarius energy is really in the spotlight. And this is about the visionary, the humanitarian, expanding our vision of what is possible, not only in our life, but for the planet, really holding a vision of possibility beyond what we currently see. Aquarius holds the ability to see beyond what is to what is possible. It is the out of the box thinker. I also associate Aquarian energy with the rebel. They are the rebel in the sense that they're here to rebel against the status quo and the boxes that keep us maybe under the illusion of being safe, but they're not supportive of evolution and expansion. Aquarius is very focused on evolution and growth and advancement. We are entering a phase where we are going to see incredible scientific advancements, like accelerated scientific advancements. Aquarius is also the sign of the astrologer. So I think we're going to see even more and more of a rise of astrology growing in popularity, even coming more and more into the mainstream, where people are recognizing how helpful it is in understanding the cycles that we are moving through and that we are navigating. It provides so much insight and clarity, and understanding that astrology is so much more than just the fun little write-ups that we see online that are based on our sun sign. And if you're following my videos, I know you already get a sense of, wow, there's so much more here that we can tap into and understand. And I think, yeah, we're just going to see an increase of that with this Aquarius energy. So what is really powerful here is just days before we experience the new moon, we also had a Sun Pluto conjunction in the sign of Aquarius. Like, that is just huge. Pluto moved into Aquarius last year, opening up a new 20-year cycle. Pluto brings soul level transformation. It's about the cycle of death and rebirth. So it forever transforms transforms what it touches. When we go through big Pluto transits in our chart, we are transformed on a very deep level. And it's often the times we feel we're going through a death rebirth cycle, where we really have to do like a rapid releasing of the old, a healing. But on the other side, we know there's always something more beautiful that emerges, and that's the process of life. That's the evolution of life. So the Sun Pluto conjunction, I mean, the last time we saw this was in the 1700s. Like, this is a big, big cycle here and that we're coming back around to. And if we look at what unfolded in that time, it was massive, massive revolutions. And what I really want to say about this energy, the message I continue to receive surrounding this. So I also work in the Akashic records, and I like to work in the records in a way of anchoring in the highest possible timeline. I do that all the time in my own life with my clients, but also anchoring in the highest possible timeline for where we are going collectively on the planet at this time. And it really is about owning our power, not a power over, not about power that is rooted in ego and in a way that separates us. This is about a power that comes from understanding our personal power, because we are connected to God. We are connected with infinite intelligence, a power that is rooted in love. And noticing the ways we give that away to external structures and people and systems. We got to have an end of that. We have to come back to reclaiming our power and to know that we are a part of what's unfolding on the earth plane at this time, and to use that in a way that's uplifting and inspiring by being more intentional about where our energy and focus is going. There's an intentionality here, and that even comes in with the year of the wood snake, which we are stepping into with the Lunar New Year. There's an intentionality there. It's not about rushing into decisions or being overly spontaneous. It's more about making intentional decisions that set you up for success in the long term, that allow you to thrive over time. There's something very foundational about this year. The element of wood is about sustainability. And there is that evolutionary component as well of the snake, where we have to shed the old skin for the new to emerge. And I think it also corresponds with the energy of the 9-year, which we see in numerology. And the year of the 9 is the ending of a lot of cycles. And in the astrology this year, we see the ending as well as the beginning of many new things. And we know these go hand in hand. Any new beginning comes from the closing of an old chapter. And sometimes we're in that in between phase of we are still putting closure on the old, closing old doors, completing old chapters while we are beginning the new. And the astrology really, really highlights that as well, where we are going to see this dance happening, especially with the Piscean energy, Saturn, Neptune moving into Aries, but then retrograding back into Pisces. So we're beginning to begin this new chapter of our journey, but we recognize in order to fully do that, there may be some healing of the past that still needs to occur. And even at the time of this new moon, of course, there's a lot of the Aquarian energy, the revolutionary energy, the visionary, humanitarian, the dreaming big. I know a lot of people that follow me are very ambitious. They come in with a big purpose of what they want to create for this planet, what they want to experience this lifetime. But also, when I say this term dreaming big, it's basically how I see it is about being more of yourself, being authentic, being in honor of the vision that's been placed in your heart to walk out on the planet, and noticing where you're lowering your standards, where you're actually settling for something that is not what you really want. And it doesn't need to all change overnight, but you can begin to question today, where am I settling for less than what I really desire? Where am I okay with things that I know I'm not okay with? And how am I being called to make changes in my life? Because this life journey is meant to be an incredible experience, and we are meant to discover the power we hold to create as part of our human journey. So back to the Pisces energy. very, very prominent right now. And on January 11th, we saw a shift of the North Node from Aries into Pisces. So at the time of this new moon here, it's at 28 degrees of Pisces, conjuncting Neptune at 27 degrees of Pisces. And the Piscean energy is also a dreamer. It's very different than the Aquarian dream. Pisces is more about the understanding of our connection to our emotional body and our spiritual self, an understanding of divine love. I see it as the higher octave of Venus, where it's very much connected to love, but the love that comes from our divinity, our connection to the divine. And this Pisces energy also is about closing of cycles. It's about the ending. So again, it overlaps with that 9 energy this year of a year of completion, a year of closure. So I would say this new moon, as it kicks off the Lunar New Year, you may for many people, it's the start of their new year. You may feel that energy and momentum and excitement building within you again, where you finally feel like, okay, the new year has started, whereas January is almost like a transitional month. We're closing out the holidays and we're getting ready for a new year, a new start. You can really feel that happening with the Lunar New Year. And it's looking at what can no longer come with me into this new year. What is it time to heal? What beliefs is it time to stop entertaining? Uh, where is my frequency in need of a little upgrade? And there's so many things we can do to really raise our frequency. Grounding is huge. The message of grounding is coming in right now, especially where we have a lot of water and air energy. We may be craving more of that grounding and earthing. I mean, I get it. I'm in Canada. We can't all go out barefoot, but something I've started using recently is a grounding mat. I even have it under my feet now. I've been really bringing it with me to my client calls at night when I read before bed. I have my feet on the grounding mat. So that earthing, that grounding is really key right now. And that will actually raise our vibration. And then it's also, I mean, there's so much out there like frequency music, frequency hertz music that's tuned to a certain frequency that our body will calibrate to. That'll help raise our vibration. We can look at the foods that we're eating, our diet, what needs to change there, our exercise levels, like very, practical things, tangible things we can do that'll actually like raise our frequency and allow ourselves to hold more light in our body. So there's definitely a calling to look at that. So I'm also seeing a beautiful aspect here between Jupiter, still moving through Gemini. What a journey it's been. Mid-year, it's going to move into Cancer. So we'll talk more about that. That's a huge change. Jupiter's a little happier in Cancer. So we're going to feel a big shift. Well, it's moved through Gemini, all through last year. We had it in Gemini. Like it's a very much can feel like an information overload. We're not sure what to believe. We're not sure what is true. We're kind of like questioning everything, which is not a bad thing to question things. I mean, we absolutely benefits us to question. But some people I know were feeling a little overwhelmed with information in their life in general. So the other aspect of Jupiter and Gemini, though, is it can be a very expansive growth energy when it comes to our knowledge and learning, like wanting to bring in information that is actually really beneficial. So the key is knowing what's useful, what isn't, and what's aligned for one person's journey may have nothing to do with someone else's. So it's also a level of discernment there of our own personal journey. The reason I'm really bringing this up, though, is it's actually in almost direct aspect, a trine here with this new moon energy. And this is actually a very supportive aspect for expanding the vision you have for your life. And I'm going to be hosting a challenge soon It'll be a free challenge that I'm going to do that's all about rising into our power as leaders, spiritual leaders, leading as a light worker and a healer, stepping into that role of leadership that's rooted in intuition, our connection to the divine, in creating more harmony on the planet, and really like taking the gifts that we have and being able to lead with them and like leading together in ways that are very supportive. So this is definitely a time for that. It's a call for a new leadership, especially being in the Aquarian age, like out with the old ego leadership. This is a time for heart-centered leadership, trusting our intuition and in surrender to a larger plan, a divine plan. So more coming on that soon, but I like this aspect for sure. Very favorable, very, very favorable. And the other thing I want to touch on here today is Mars is still retrograding through Cancer. Mars retrogrades about once every 2 years, so we don't see a Mars retrograde every year. Usually it's like full steam ahead when it's direct. Mars is one of the indicators I look for in a chart to help people understand their style of manifesting and creating, because it's how we use our life force energy. So really understanding your Mars placement, the aspects that it's making is really helpful for that. Knowing how we use our energy, but collectively, where it's retrograde in the sign of Cancer, we're really called to look at how we are nurturing ourselves. And we don't want our ambition, our goals to burn us out, because that's obviously not sustainable and not helping anybody and not the way. That's not really true success. If we're achieving things, but we're exhausted and burned out, I think most people would say that's not really a success. If it came at the expense of our energy and happiness and health and well-being, that's not really successful. So this is about intentionally using our energy and knowing those things, going back to what are you doing to raise your frequency, to nurture yourself, to replenish your energy. That's actually going to make you it'll accelerate your manifestations. It's more sustainable. It's going to allow every action you take to hold more power and more potency, because it's coming from more of an aligned space instead of a vessel that's feeling drained and exhausted. So we're really called to look at that closely while Mars continues to retrograde. And then we'll have a long, long shadow period too, where we'll talk about that. Like our energy begins to return, but there's still going to be things that come up in our life where we have the opportunity to either go with maybe an old pattern that kept us feeling like burnt out, overwhelmed, overworked, or to really choose a new way of working with our energy that's more flow based, more in alignment. Alignment is key, right? I know that's what we're all continually moving toward, that sense of alignment with our true calling, a sense of alignment with our physical body and our energy, all on board, working together in beautiful, harmonious ways. So Uranus is the ruler of this new moon. It rules over Aquarius, and hence like the rebellious side. Uranus is known as the disruptor or the awakener. If you followed my videos, you've heard me say this energy can feel very disruptive if we're not willing to evolve and grow and create change where it is needed. It's experienced as more of an awakening if we are willing to create change and evolution and step out of the comfort zone. Uranus doesn't care about comfort zones. It's like full steam ahead. And I'm not saying there's not a place for comfort zones, but when we're looking at the archetypal energy of Uranus, it's about growth and it's about evolution and it's about embracing change, allowing ourselves to grow and evolve. And it's currently finishing up a long cycle in Taurus. Not quite yet. We're going to try, it's still in Taurus for a while, but this year it will move into Gemini, which is contributing to an increase in AI and massive AI advancements, scientific advancements, like out of this world. And it's going to be huge. So stay tuned. Check in with these videos and I'll keep you posted, because there is so much going on this year. I'm also going to post below an overview I did. I teamed up few weeks ago now with an amazing astrologer, Brittany Taylor, and we did a 2025 overview prediction. So we talk a little bit more about that shift of Uranus and Gemini there, as well as the shift of Saturn and Neptune, as well as the nodal shift. So I'll link that video below if you want to get an overview of what you can begin to expect as we go into the year. And because there is so much happening this year, I'll be doing more of a breakdown as these transits happen. So we're getting ready for a big change there. And while Uranus is still in Taurus, especially where it's beginning to wrap up, it's still retrograde right now, but seeing huge changes, continuing to be big changes to the economy. The farming industries, like Taurus is related to land, Taurus is related to money. So, we've seen that those changes unfold surrounding money, a rise in crypto, like all these big shifts. So we're not done. We're not done with those changes yet. And I actually predict crypto really becoming more popular with Uranus moving into Gemini as well. So again, we'll talk about that as it gets closer. But as far as this new moon energy, which is the highlight for today, as well as this, nodal shift of the North Node in Pisces, which is fairly recent as well, we really want to use this beautiful energy as a reset. If you've been in that holiday mode, this is like the new year. New Year energy now full in effect. So I'm also going to share below again if you want to check it out, my Akashic Visioning course for 2025. So I hosted that in January, but the replay is now available. So when you purchase and sign up, you get immediate access to the video, as well as a beautiful workbook, a journaling workbook to help you integrate the messages and the downloads that come through for you in the Akashic Records. So we're working with the Akashic Records to help you anchor in your highest timeline for abundance, for creativity in the coming year, really supporting you and flourishing. And there's also beautiful healing work we do to help bring closure to beliefs that are no longer useful or helpful, or karmic cycles that you're ready to evolve beyond. We're never meant to stay stuck in karmic cycles. We're actually continually meant to grow and evolve, to take the lesson, to integrate it, and to expand. But we're human, and sometimes we stay stuck in the karmic cycles longer than we're meant to, and that could also contribute to a feeling of suffering, and we don't have to stay there. So check that out below. I also have a new Astro Akashic business reading for any entrepreneurs that want to work magic with your birth chart to create financial success and growth and magnetism in the message you are here to share. I'll attach the details to that below. But enjoy this beautiful energy. Work with this energy to set your intentions, to release any limitations on what you are able to create and to achieve. And remember the power you hold to not only bring your ideas and your desires to life, but to contribute to what's happening on the planet. The more that each of us claim that, the more things really shift and evolve in the most harmonious, beautiful ways. Because I know if you're here, you are soul led, you are connected to your heart, you have a vision of harmony and peace that you are committed to bringing to this planet. So as we step into our power as leaders, and we know the power we hold, that's huge. And that's part of the awakening and the ascension that is happening at an accelerated rate right now. All right. I am sending you all so, so much love. Happy Lunar New Year. And I will see you very soon. Bye for now.